You know what? It gets harder and harder to pick the right phone for you, and a lot of people often are stuck in the brand that they already know. But should you be stuck? Well, let me talk about a phone that you might have looked past and talk about some things that I really like about it, but also some things that I think can be improved. This is the review of the Motorola Edge 20 Pro. So let's dive into the review. So, the Motorola Edge 20 Pro, there's a lot to discuss about the phones, and there are some things, sadly, that I don't necessarily like about it, but also some things that I truly like. For one, the camera system, well, in daytime, but we're gonna discuss that a little bit further on in this video. So, what are some things that I really miss on this phone? Well, if you haven't watched my channel, I truly care about the headphone jack, and sadly, that's not a thing on this phone. And I feel like that is definitely a feature that you should have on your phone. With that being said, this phone at least comes with a charger inside of the box, and again, it's sad to say that this is now a feature. Having a charger inside of your box is now a feature with your phone. That's mental, right? Samsung, Apple. Anyway, let's just dive into the rest of the experience with the phone itself, because that really matters as well. For one, the fingerprint scanner. That's of course located on the side here, and a lot of phones share this same approach. For myself, I think it's the ideal position and it works really fast, but I have noticed that of course when you take it out, often you do use your thumb at that location, and then you get that you tried it too many times, even though you weren't trying to unlock the device itself. It's just a bit more of a natural way to hold the device. So I do feel like that's a problem, and it's not only with Motorola, I do have it with other devices I've used as well. So this is something that I've noticed while using the device. So then we of course go to software experience. Here I think Motorola does it fine. There are some handy features that works really well. For instance, what I actually started to use a lot is just shake my phone and there we go. The flash is on. Shake it again, flash is off. This is really handy to have in a lot of situations. For instance, if I'm going to bed, I simply shake it and then of course I walk up the stairs and just have a light with me. That is really handy, and it works well, it works consistent, and every single time it just works like it's supposed to. Then there are some things that I feel like could be better. For instance, if you do make a screenshot, it's weird that you cannot press anything else after that. You have to press on the screenshot itself to then make it disappear. This is weird and it doesn't work well for me. The same goes for, of course, closing apps. If you want to close all apps, you have to go far to the left if you have a lot of apps open, of course. Or you just have to manually swipe every single app. And that's a bit weird for me, and I feel like they should have done that better. Just have something below the apps that works well. Just close all apps. It makes a lot of sense to have that. And I don't get why Motorola has decided not to give you that option. And this is not the only Motorola that has that. The G100 has that same problem. But apart from that, software experience on the Motorola Edge 20 Pro is really solid. It works well. Charging also does it well. It's nothing impressive with 30 watts, but still it does it well, and battery life truly does last long. Then we come to audio. Now of course, the 3.5mm headphone jack isn't a feature here. But what also sadly isn't a feature, and I really feel like Motorola should be pushing forward to that, stereo speakers. This means that only the bottom is actually a speaker. This one of course is just for conversations. But the bottom is only the speaker that works for music, for games or anything like that. I feel like they should definitely add that. A lot of people just simply watch videos when they're home on their phone, and I think that is something that they should definitely have on their phone, and especially for this price. Dual speakers should definitely be a thing. And then we get to camera. Again, this is something that I pay a lot of attention to, and I'm very critical about a camera performance, especially because I don't like a lot of phones that overproduce the image, that makes it look unnatural, too saturated. Just a lot of things going on with the image itself. If I go outside and see a shot that I like, it's because of how the colors look, not because of how the colors are being made on a lot of phones. With the oversaturation, with the over contrast, with the over brightness of shots, I don't like that, and I think companies should definitely stop doing that. The Motorola Edge 20 Pro does it really well. It keeps it more toned down, it keeps it a bit more realistic to what I'm actually seeing. The performance of the camera is not too shabby. I think in daytime it actually is a really solid contender. With that being said, we also have to discuss video performance. Here I don't think it's the best, but with that being said I don't think it's bad either. So here are some examples, recording with of course the Motorola Edge 20 Pro. And then of course we have low light. Low light is something that uses a lot of algorithms to create an image that you like, at least with current phones. Apart from Sony of course. Duh. But anyway, a lot of algorithm comes into making an image in low light, often using a lot of frames to then get that single image that looks proper. With that being said, how does the Motorola Edge 20 Pro perform? Honestly, not that great. I don't think it's bad, but it doesn't perform that well. I don't think it performs according to the price. While I don't agree with a lot of AI setups that you get in low light, with the sky of course looking brighter and looking almost like it's a foggy night or something like that, or a foggy evening, it doesn't work well for me, those kind of shots. But I do think that the Motorola Edge 20 Pro needs some work here. Low light just isn't as good as some other devices around this price, even if I don't necessarily agree with a lot of phones that, like stated, overprocess it and make it look somewhat daytime or something like that. Loses character of the night, if that makes sense. But I do think here it needs some work because it does look a bit grainier. But here I have to commend it for actually getting the colors correct again. It looks more natural that way and I do prefer that at the end. But as stated, it does look a little bit grainy and it doesn't look as complete as some other phones out there. So low light, if you are used to having that computer generated like image, the Motorola Edge 20 Pro doesn't go for that kind of look, and it's something that you should be aware of if you do prefer that kind of look. So the Motorola Edge 20 Pro for me I think is a solid contender when it comes to a device like this. I think it does a lot of things well, and as stated in the review as well, it has a lot of things that I think could have done better or could have been integrated a little bit better. Or for instance, as stated, stereo speakers or the headphone jack would have been lovely to have on a device like this. I've been using this for about 4 weeks now and I do truly like the device, but as stated, there are some things that I feel like they could have done better. With that being said, I definitely would recommend it to a more normal average consumer that doesn't care about the headphone jack and doesn't often take low light shots, for instance. So, at the end, what do you think about the Motorola Edge 20 Pro? What is your opinion about the device based on the review that I gave you? And of course, what do you think about the shots that I've taken with it? Do you like that more natural look, or are you someone who doesn't like that and prefers that brighter look that is for Instagram? Don't get why, but everyone has their own taste and you cannot judge someone else for their taste and their preferences. Either way, I hope you enjoyed this video about the Motorola Edge 20 Pro, and if you did, don't forget to hit that like button. Just not too hard, because I don't want you to smash your phone or display. But I do prefer that little tap on there or a mouse click to hit that like button, or leave a comment below, because it does truly help out. Also, if you have any questions about the device, don't forget to leave them below as well, and I will try to answer all of them if there are any questions. Either way, hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, That's good. Also, hope you, by the way, enjoyed this new setup. Yes? No? Let me know in the comments below. Either way, have a good one and talk to you guys in the next.